Welcome to Philosophy in Pajamas podcast. We are definitely ditching the academic robes today and slipping right into the comfort of a really human story.
hmm
Because today's deep dive is into something that I think is universally terrifying, but, fundamentally necessary for true love: radical emotional honesty.
That's so true.
Ah,
We're just bypassing all the dry academic theories on communication today.
right.
We're just immersing ourselves in what is basically a masterclass on vulnerability.
hmm
And it's drawn straight from this personal narrative that proves honesty doesn't break relationships.
No.
It just filters out everything that wasn't strong enough in the first place.
And what a story it is. I mean, this is a wildly funny, fiercely romantic tale about a couple, Sakshi and Rushik, navigating the deep waters of true connection.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to extract these surprising kind of essential nuggets about emotional communication and figure out why truth acts as this necessary filter.
And, this relationship narrative, it's like a psychological adventure dressed up as a pure love story.
It really is.
Their chemistry, it's innocent, pure, and wild all at once, and it's built entirely on this commitment to, immediate, terrifying transparency.
Yeah.
They just don't waste time on pretense.
Not at all.
Rushik, the author of this experience, he shows us exactly what happens when you just decide to say what hurts.
Okay, let's unpack this opening scene because it sets the stakes immediately. You have this perfect setup, a beautiful evening. The text describes the sky looking like a painter had washed his brush on it.
Just gorgeous.
Everything is geared toward classic romance, right?
Yeah.
Soft lights, easy conversation. And then Sakshi drops the conversational equivalent of a tactical nuclear weapon.
The dangerous question.
Uh-huh.
The one that forces, instantaneous soul excavation.
Mm.
She just says, tell me how you feel.
And that question, in that context, becomes so profoundly threatening, and his immediate internal panic is it's completely relatable.
Oh, yeah.
Which is where the humor starts to filter in. I mean, he describes his spine trying to resign from his body right then and there.
That's it. That's the feeling. That is the feeling of just total physiological terror when you're facing true vulnerability.
And it perfectly captures the moment the mask starts to slip.
It does, because feelings, as he notes, they aren't neat little packages, They are like feral cats.
Right.
You try to feed one small truth, and suddenly 50 anxieties are just demanding attention and tearing up the furniture in your mind.
And the courage needed to even corral those feral cats it's monumental. He compared mustering that courage to the feat of having once eaten pani puri during peak summer.
Which is, for anyone who knows the intense heat and spice involved,
Yeah.
that is a hilarious analogy for deep personal risk.
It tells you everything. It tells you that in his mind, articulating fear is the same as surviving a physical ordeal. He thinks he's putting his entire equilibrium at risk.
It really does.
So he gathers this epic courage and finally shares the difficult truth that was living inside him. I feel anxious sometimes. I feel scared you might think I am not enough.
And that's the big one.
Now, in 99% of romantic stories, that moment is followed by drama or pity or some defensive counterattack.
Sure.
But Sakshi's response, this is the first major pivot of the whole deep dive.
It completely reframes the situation. She wasn't angry. She wasn't sympathetic. She was described as faintly amused.
Right, like a professor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a professor listening to a student who gave the wrong answer with full confidence. She treated his deep-seated fear like a mistaken premise, not a fatal flaw.
Okay, wait, let's pause on that. What's the actual psychological impact of that, of treating anxiety like a slightly mistaken homework assignment?
Well, it immediately removes the power from the anxiety itself, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
By responding with amusement instead of distress, she signals two crucial things. First, that his vulnerability isn't surprising or unique, and second, that she is not easily broken.
So she's immediately challenging his core assumption that vulnerability is some kind of breakup catalyst.
That's it. Her core insight right there just establishes the thesis for their entire relationship. She was essentially listening to him confess his biggest weakness and saying, you think that ends anything good? Try harder.
I love that.
She understood that the confession wasn't a flaw. It was a necessary piece of data for intimacy. And this is where we get the core message of this deep dive. Truth as a filter.
Okay, hit us with the filter thesis statement. It's what gives this deep dive its powerful title.
She states it so clearly. She says, these truths do not break people who actually love you. They break the ones who are pretending.
Wow.
Honesty, as messy as it is the self-cleaning filter for the relationship. It just immediately screens out anyone whose connection was superficial, conditional, or rooted in an idealized version of you.
That completely reframes how we look at vulnerability. It's not a risk you take hoping your partner accepts it. It's a necessary mechanism for preservation.
hmm It saves you time, emotional energy, and heartache by immediately confirming if the person across from you is even capable of durable love.
And we fear the filter because we are so terrified of the result, the clean result, maybe the empty result.
But this proves that once the filter is applied, the real connection just gets stronger, instantly.
And what I find fascinating is how they immediately pivot from this profound emotional moment to their signature, romance gymnastics cocktail.
Yes.
This quick shift is so critical because it stops the relationship from becoming, suffocatingly intense.
That quick pivot keeps the connection light and real. After his massive confession, she rests her hand on his cheek with the softness of a monsoon drizzle, a deep, silent moment of connection.
Peak intimacy.
But before the moment can get overly theatrical, she immediately follows up with that light scolding, grounding everything back in the shared reality of just imperfection.
Right. Also, you forgot to bring my favorite chocolate again, so there's that.
It's the perfect blend. Romance gymnastics mixed with a light scolding. They acknowledged the monumental emotional reveal, they absorbed it, and then instantly moved back to being two imperfect people who forgot snacks.
It shows that being radically honest doesn't require constant, heavy intensity. It just requires fullness, including the trivial stuff alongside the massive fears.
The lesson here is you don't have to keep the anxiety confession on repeat. You say the hard thing, your partner accepts it, and then you move on to debating why someone forgot chocolate.
That's how real life integrates the profound.
Precisely. They're building a partnership that accepts both the existential storm and, the momentary drizzle.
Okay, let's move to the next layer of vulnerability, which happens when they go for a walk later. The courage to be vulnerable is infectious. Rushik, feeling seen, finally gathers the courage to turn the question back on her. He asks, "Do you ever feel scared of losing me?"
And this is the moment Sakshi delivers another profound truth that defines the hidden threat in most relationships. Her fear isn't the predictable one losing him or some external threat.
No.
Her fear is the emotional self-containment he shows. She looks at him and says, "I fear that you're holding things inside till they turn into wild thunderstorms."
That strength-shaped silence, that is the real enemy of intimacy.
It is. She says, and this is the vital psychological nugget for you, the listener, what breaks me is silence shaped like strength. Which raises a hugely important question. Why is withdrawing and being silent more dangerous than a messy, shouted truth?
I think we all default to silence because we think we're protecting the other person from our mess, or that we're showing we can handle things alone.
That's the common delusion. But silence denies your partner the tools to understand you. You are withholding the data they need to participate in the relationship fully.
You're essentially saying, "I do not trust you with my mess."
Exactly. It's the ultimate act of disconnection. Even when you're physically holding hands, you create a void between you. And that void is where the storm develops, completely unseen.
And the irony is that the moment you choose silence to project stability, you are actually introducing fundamental instability.
Yes. You replace a known, manageable fear, like anxiety, with an unknown, amorphous threat, the threat of withdrawal.
And yet again, they ground this extremely profound realization with a dose of humor, preventing it from getting melodramatic.
Absolutely. The scene immediately shifts back to the mundane. We get that wonderful description of him having the emotional unpredictability of a power cut.
I love that.
And then when he tries to hug her in public, she dodges smoothly with that lighthearted line, "People will think you are a tree, and I am trying to protect myself from unwanted shade."
It's a perfect, instantaneous correction that reminds us that serious relationships are often deeply silly.
Oh, yeah.
And the stray dog following them, loyally, as if on a mission to judge the quality of our conversation, that detail just confirms this deep emotional work isn't done on a therapist's couch.
No. It's done while life is happening, while dogs are literally judging your capacity for true connection.
And that's the defining characteristic of their pure wild chemistry. They can pivot between existential dread and the immediate funny reality of dodging a public hug. They don't have separate modes for deep talk and flirting.
It's all integrated.
What's fascinating here is that once he has established the principle of radical honesty, Sakshi reciprocates. This is the true tectonic shift. She turns the filter back on herself.
She admits she feels insecure too, giving him the gift of her own truth. She describes herself as a paper boat that pretends to be a ship.
Right.
She shares her reciprocal fear. When he doesn't talk, she assumes waves are rising. She wasn't asking him to be invulnerable, she was just asking him to share the forecast.
And the story describes the physical reaction to this reciprocal honesty. Honesty has this way of making the world shift for a second, like a train changing tracks.
It's the sound of mutual trust locking into place. The sound of two people realizing that their vulnerabilities are actually shared.
And that shared vulnerability leads to their new foundational agreement. It's not about achieving perfection or delivering poetic pronouncements.
Oh.
It's the commitment to talk even when it is messy, even when it is not poetic, even when it is ordinary.
And that key principle, that real connections do not fear the truth. They grow roots from it. That messy, ordinary truth isn't the threat. It's the nourishment.
It's the dirt the roots need to anchor down in.
Exactly. If you only share the polished, positive aspects of your life, the roots never go deep enough to withstand the first storm. We have to remember that when we talk about this innocent, pure, and wild chemistry, it's because they chose transparency over idealization,
They chose roots over surface beauty.
which suggests that durability is inherently more romantic than fragile perfection.
And the final confession, sitting back home, is the culmination of this whole process. Rushik finally lets the remaining truth walk out of me like it was finally tired of living in the basement.
Yeah.
And it's not some big dramatic secret. It's a list of safe feelings unlocked by honesty. I feel safe with you. I feel seen. I feel stupid in the best way.
Feeling stupid in the best way. That just captures the profound relief of abandoning the pretense of strength or needing to be flawless.
It does.
They summarize their fit as two mismatched puzzle shapes that somehow fit because we keep choosing to turn a little toward each other. It's an act of choice, every day.
Based on current reality, not some fixed idea of perfection.
Huh.
So after this incredible journey into their communication style, what is the ultimate knowledge nugget we can take away from this?
I think we circle back to the ultimate filter, which is the mechanism of preservation. Sakshi's final lesson is just critical. If speaking your truth scares someone away, then they were not yours. Your truth is your filter. It keeps your life clean.
It's not a tool for pushing people away.
No, it's a tool for drawing the right people closer. And the reward of using that filter is this unique emotional glow. Not the cosmetic kind, but the real one that comes when someone is honest with their heart and yours.
It's the profound relief and light that comes from radical transparency.
Which leads to that powerful conclusion about vulnerability. He learned that love isn't about eliminating risk. It's about choosing the right risks.
And the biggest risk is the risk of being truly known. And that's why his final declaration just captures the entire deep dive in their wild, innocent chemistry. Sakshi, you are my favorite risk.
It's a statement that acknowledges the constant, chosen transparency required to keep the connection real. Honesty isn't a threat, it's a gate.
And good, durable partners walk through that gate, celebrating the storm warnings and the shared mess.
And love becomes lighter and deeper when absolutely nothing is held inside, shaped like strength.
So this deep dive, sourced from a fiercely honest love story, shows us that the fastest path to profound, durable connection is through immediate, often messy, truth. It's about building a relationship that can handle storms because you built it on the reality of who you both are.
Not some idealized version of yourselves. So, as you reflect on this, think about that idea that silence is strength-shaped. What small, scary truth are you holding inside today that is actually preventing your relationship, whether romantic or otherwise, from growing its roots?
Yeah.
Are you protecting your partner from the truth, or are you just protecting yourself from having to be truly seen?
That is a powerful question. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into honesty and connection.
My pleasure.
If you enjoyed this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe to the Philosophy in Pajamas YouTube channel. You can also follow Rushik on medium.com/Wall to explore more of his insightful work. We'll see you next time.